So today is another one of my longer, straighter drives, and we're going to work on this tip to understand how to draw the golf ball. And what's always interesting for me, I think the driver, because of the way we set up to the ball and we use it off a tee peg, should be the easiest club in the bag to actually hit a draw, which is what we're going to encourage in this video. And actually it's the most common club people slice. So what we're going to show you today is what creates a draw, understand what you need to do to make a drawing shape. And then we're going to use another shot on the golf course that when I go out on the course with people, they sort of understand how that's going to affect the shot and how by teeing the ball up and using this shot, how we can actually get you to start hitting a draw off the tee. So what is a draw? Okay, so let's understand that to start with. So a draw is a shot where basically the ball will start right of target and then naturally will start to draw, so move right to left in the air back towards the target. That would be a nice draw. So how do we create that? So what we've put down here, just a plank of wood sort of on my target line where I'd like to end up. And what I've got to encourage in my swing is a pathway where the golf club is swinging. The expression we use is in to out. So it looks like I'm coming from this side of the plank of wood. This is what we call inside, and this side is outside. Okay, and what I need to do is the first part, the in, is what we're doing before we get to the ball. The out is what's happening to the club once we go past the ball. Okay, so that's what we mean by an in to out swing. Now, relative to that, what that will do is if I have a square club face to that swing, now my golf ball will go to the right of that intended line that I've put there. So how do I create a draw? Well, relative to that line, as this club is swinging out that way, the club face needs to be pointing left of the path, left of the journey the club's swinging on that way. If it does that, we'll start to get some sort of right to left curvature on the ball. And if we look at it scientifically, we don't actually want to get the club face back to the target, because what we've learned through systems like TrackMan and Flight Scope is the club face on a driver has about 80% control on where the ball starts. So if you get the club face pointing back at the target, what will happen is the ball will jump quite severely left of the path, and then you'll have the curvature and you'll end up missing the target left. So I think the science proves we want it to be about 60% left of the path. Okay, so there's a little bit of science there, but we don't need to worry about that too much, because what we're going to understand is follow the ball flight, understand the ball flight, and learn from your shots and understand what's going on. So the key things we're looking for, a pathway that will swing the club out to the right, and a club face that is slightly left of that path, and that now promotes our draw. Now let's look at one of the things we do when we play a tee shot. We tee the ball up. So the ball is now higher when we go to hit the shot. And the importance of that is when we're doing that, we want to feel like we're hitting a little bit up on the ball. So what we're going to look at, let's look at another shot in golf that you may come across, which is ball above your feet, which in theory is what you're doing when you drive the ball. The ball is higher than your feet when you stand on the tee box. And if we look at that shot, how we understand how that will affect the shot and how we can use it to help us to hit the drives better. So here's the shot that's going to help us to make us play better drives. What happens when the ball is above your feet when you're playing on the golf course? And most people, when they look at this shot, they understand that what's going to happen is, set up to this ball, they all say to me, well, the ball's going to go left. So let's think about what we're encouraging with the driver. We're looking to hit a ball with a left movement. We're looking for a left shape. So what happens when the ball is above your feet? Now, this is a lot more severe than a situation of being on our tee peg. But naturally, what happens to your swing when the ball is higher, your swing now, relative to normal position, will feel a bit shallower. Okay, so if we're standing on a flat bit of ground here, the club will be swinging on its normal angle. As soon as we go to here and it's a lot more above my feet, naturally now it feels like the swing wants to be a little bit shallower around my body. And people sort of get that, they understand it. And what they start to do well when they understand it is the first part of the downswing. They realise then from there, if they stay on this shallower part of the downswing coming into the ball, then naturally what you've got to do, the club will naturally rotate around your body. So it's amazing how often people playing off this lie will hit a draw. They won't come into it and feel like, yeah, I've got to come in this way, which is what's happening when we're hitting that slice with the driver, because they know they're probably going to miss hit the ball. So they learn. So this is a great way to learn it. If you're not doing it right, go and practice shots off a ball above your foot lie. Get the feeling that the swing is now working on this slightly shallower plane. The shallower plane will help us get more on that inside line. From there, let the club face rotate like you're hitting off a ball above your feet, And now, as I'm watching that ball, I can see it curve in the air, probably 5 to 7 yards in the air from right to left. Okay, all I would learn from that as I get used to it is how much further to the right I need to aim to promote the right path, but we can see that shallowing off of the swing. So this is a great way. We're going to go back to the driver now, learn how to hit a ball above your feet. It's going to make it much easier to hit that ball off the tee peg, which is what we're going to go back and have a look at. So we're back at the drive, and we're going to learn from what we learned over there with the ball above the feet, how that can help us to hit the ball with a slight draw. And what I always see when I'm watching golfers on TV, unless they are specifically trying to hit a certain shot, especially when you watch somebody like Rory McIlroy, who's probably the best driver the game has ever seen, they're not scared to tee the ball up. Okay, I think that's a big thing. Amateurs tend to tee the ball down. And the problem is when you tee the ball down, it encourages you to want to hit down to the bottom of the ball. So what I would encourage you to do as much as you can is have the confidence to think, yeah, tee the ball up, think of our ball above the feet lie, and now we're just going to get that picture back in our head of the path of the swing. So if you want to hit that draw, another thing you can do slightly in your setup is just feel a slightly closed stance. So you may feel like your feet are aiming a little bit to the right to encourage that path of swing. But remember, what happens is if you're hitting up through the ball as we're going through it, and you've now got the sensation that you're hitting from that ball above the feet lie, it should encourage that slight drawing action as we go through the ball. So that's what we're looking to achieve as we go through the shot. So you always have to have that mental picture what you're looking for. We're using the ball above the feet to get the shallower swing. We're getting that sensation that when we do that, if we're going to do anything through the ball, we will get a very slight drawing shape because now the club face is rotating through the shot. And this is where it's very important as well. You get the right loft on your club. Okay, we talked about this in one of my other videos. A lot of golfers are playing with too little loft on their driver. Okay, we talked about the tailor-made driver that has around 14 degrees. It's a great driver. Anything around 12 degrees for a lot of golfers, if you're not generating enough club head speed, it's going to help. Okay, and especially if we're looking to draw the ball, as we said, that is feeling as if the club face is slightly rotating through. The good thing is it will keep the loft off the club. You're not adding loft, which will cause loss of power and mainly a shot out to the right. It gives us a really good opportunity to get that ball going where we want to go. So let's see if we can put those ideas together now. So what I tend to do with my golfers is when they're setting up, we've got nice high tee here. You can see probably a little bit higher than orthodox. Most people will encourage you to have about half the ball over. I've gone a little bit higher. And that again is to give me that feeling that if I'm going to hit there, you can see as I do that, just that very small movement. We talked about this with ball position relative to the club face. We want it slightly out the toe so we hit more out the middle of the club. You can see as I go up, what's the shaft doing? It's getting shallower, like our lie when the ball was above our feet. So the higher the tee, it's promoting the draw. It's making it easier to get that shape. So what I want to feel then from there is sense that swing is like that ball above my feet. So I get people to swing a little bit like a baseball bat. Okay, now don't do this on the range because you may not have enough room. I don't want you damaging your golf club, but you can do it on the tee away from your opponents or beside the tee and just get that feeling that you're going that way. And then it's trust. Believe in what we've said. So ball position slightly forward. That feels as if then, if anything, my body again slightly tilting. That promotes, again, slight sensation if I'm that way to hit up on the ball, to feel then that I'm going to get the feeling of hitting nicely higher, like I would when that ball's above my feet, and just trust it and let the club face rotate from there. Let's see what happens. Okay, so I'm watching my ball, and I've probably got there probably a good 10 yards of draw on it. So probably a little bit more than I would like in a game, but it's highlighted what I'm looking for. I'm getting that sensation that if I practice shots off a ball above my feet, it makes the swing shallower. Makes the swing shallower, that's going to encourage a draw. So if that's what you're looking for, that's just a simple way to do it. If you can hit a ball above your feet, you can hit a draw with your driver. And that's the big thing I want you to understand. That's the way to practice it. If you do it, you're going to start hitting that ball a lot further and get a lot more success off the tee. And then get that ball in play a lot further down the hole. It makes it much easier to play the game. I hope you enjoyed that tip. Look forward to seeing you soon.